Hello, I'm Pete Madland, Executive Director of the Tavern League of Wisconsin. I want to take this opportunity to share with you some of the thoughts that cross my desk on a weekly basis. I get questions from members constantly, and I thought we'd talk about a few of those commonly asked questions. Probably the most common is music licensing. For those of you who have any kind of music, be it a DJ, karaoke, bands, whatever the case may be, you have questions. What is music licensing and do I have to pay? The answer to that question is music licensing is an authority given by federal copyright law to what we call performing rights organizations. You're probably most familiar with ASCAP and BMI. They are given the authority to collect royalties for various artists that they represent. The bottom line is if you use a product, that being a song written by Willie Nelson, Michael Jackson, the Beatles, to enhance your business, they get rewarded for that. You should pay them for the right to use their product. And rather than Willie Nelson knocking on your door saying you owe me a few dollars, ASCAP or BMI have that authority to do that. How much do you pay? It all depends. It depends on the size of your place, the frequency of your music, the style of music. In other words, you have a 5-piece band, a 1-piece band, a karaoke, a DJ, wherever the case may be. There's a lot of different variables. So the first question you have to ask when you get a bill from ASCAP or BMI is the bill accurate? Do they have your occupancy? Do they have the frequency of your music properly recorded? And if they don't, tell them. Say, no, I cannot seat these many people. I don't have bands that often, whatever the case may be. So that kind of sums up the fact that they do have the authority to collect, and by law you are required to pay. And how much you pay depends on your establishment. The other question I get asked very often about music licensing is that do I have to pay both BMI and ASCAP? Unfortunately, the answer to that question is yes. ASCAP may represent people like Willie Nelson, the Beatles, and Janet Jackson, where BMI might have Waylon Jennings, the Beach Boys, and Tom Petty. So the fact that they represent 98% of the artists, it is virtually impossible for you to have music and not play music by artists that they represent. The only time that you would be exempt is that if you have a band that would come in and play all original music. And we find that in very, very few cases. The only other time you're exempt from paying is if you have a venue where the only time that your facility is used is for private weddings, receptions, anniversaries, things like that. Those are private events, and you do not have to pay for licensing for private events. It's just for public events. I know there's a lot more questions you may have, and feel free anytime to call the Tavern League, 800-445-9221, for any other questions involving music licensing.